The wind was cold, and the house was eerily quiet. I was sitting on the couch, scrolling through my phone, when a sudden knock echoed through the house. It wasn't like the usual knocks. This one was urgent, frantic. My heart raced, and I looked towards Sarah, who was in the kitchen. She froze. Her hands stopped mid-air as she was putting away dishes. Her face turned pale, and her eyes darted toward the door. I was confused, but something in her reaction told me this wasn't just any knock. Before we dive in, please subscribe to our channel. It means the world to us and helps us bring you more amazing stories. I'll get it, I said, but Sarah didn't move. There was a strange tension in the air as I walked to the door. My curiosity grew, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. I opened the door, and there stood Mark, the man Sarah had once told me was just a friend from work. But there was something different in his eyes now, something dark. "Hey man, is Sarah here?" he asked, his voice shaking, but I could see through his facade. He wasn't here for a casual visit. I glanced back at Sarah, who had stepped into the hallway. She looked even more guilty now, her eyes shifting nervously. "What's going on?" I asked. I could barely get the words out as a knot twisted in my stomach. Mark stepped past me into the living room without waiting for an answer. "Sarah and I have been seeing each other for 6 months, he said bluntly, as though revealing a secret. "She's been lying to you all this time." The words hit me like a punch to the gut. My wife, the woman I trusted above all else, had been betraying me for months. Every late night, every excuse, it was all a lie. I turned to Sarah, feeling my chest tighten. "Is this true? Tell me this isn't true," I shouted, my voice breaking. Tears welled up in her eyes, but she didn't speak. She couldn't. I could see the guilt written all over her face. It was as if the world around me had shifted and everything I thought I knew about our life together was crumbling. I glanced at our son, who was standing in the doorway, his little face full of confusion. He had been playing with his toys just moments ago, but now he was witnessing the destruction of everything he had ever known. My heart broke seeing him there, but at that moment, I couldn't let the pain of his innocent eyes stop me. "Why? Why did you do this to us?" "To me?" I asked, my voice trembling with anger and betrayal. I didn't care if Mark was still in the room. I needed answers. "I wasn't happy," Sarah whispered. "I've been feeling lost, like I wasn't important anymore. Mark made me feel wanted. I never meant to hurt you. I'm so sorry." The words stung, but what hurt more was seeing the man I loved, the father of my child, betray me for attention. It wasn't about love for Mark. It was about her own dissatisfaction. She had cheated not for him, but for herself. The truth was, she had betrayed me out of her own insecurity, and that cut deeper than anything. But in that moment, something snapped inside me. I couldn't let this go. Not for her, not for him, and certainly not for our son. "You think you can just throw our life away like that?" I shouted, stepping toward her. "Do you think this is just something we can forget?" She looked at me with tears streaming down her face, but I didn't care. She had destroyed everything, everything we had built together, and I was done. "Take him, please," I said, nodding toward our son. He looked up at me, confused and scared, but I couldn't let him grow up in this toxic environment, a broken home where lies and betrayal were the foundation. "I'm done," I said, my voice cold. "You've broken my trust, and there's no coming back from that." I turned away from her, looking at Mark. "Get out of my house," I demanded. "Both of you, now." Mark didn't argue. He knew it was over. He walked out the door, but as he left, I saw him smirk as though he had won some sort of victory. But he didn't know the truth that I had already won. I had regained control over my life. When the door slammed behind him, I stood there, my heart heavy, but my resolve stronger than ever. I didn't need Sarah to be whole. I didn't need her to be the person I thought she was. I needed to focus on what mattered, my son, and creating a better future for him, one free of betrayal and lies. I had learned a hard lesson that night. Loyalty and trust are the foundation of any relationship, and without them, there's nothing left. I wasn't going to let her betrayal define me. I was going to make sure that despite everything, I could still be the father my son deserved. As Sarah left, I looked at my son, holding him close. I couldn't change what had happened, but I could change the future. This was my chance to rebuild. to show him what real love and loyalty looked like and to make sure he would never feel the sting of betrayal the way I had. The road ahead wouldn't be easy, but I was done being the victim. It was time for revenge, not in the way she expected, but by living a better life, one filled with strength, love, and integrity. And that I vowed would be the most powerful revenge of all.